So, hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Borka Haydin and I'm a content marketing expert at CyanoGuard. And today we are gonna introduce you to CyanoGuard's technology and answer all the questions regarding our technology and our solution. So we are gonna start with this session, and today's session we are gonna introduce you to our innovative cyanide monitoring solution. How can you increase your gold extraction with our solution? And also how you can test our solution and introduction to our cyanide monitoring solution. And we are gonna go to our main part of this session, and that is our Q&A session. Today's speakers are Alex Murray and Luis Neisser, and they are business developers at CyanoGuard, and both of them have expertise in the mining industry. Alex more from the operation side, and Luis more from the chemical side. Now I'm going to let Alex the word and take over.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm going to start out with just a brief introduction of CyanoGuard's technology. So we offer a threefold solution that gives you the power to control your cyanide usage. Starting on the left, we have single-use test cartridges, which change color when exposed to a diluted cyanide sample, which is possible due to our patented non-hazardous molecule housed within the test cartridges. In the center, you can see our CyanoSmart handheld device. This digitally analyzes the test cartridges and instantly displays a quantitative result. These results are transmitted to the online platform with GPS information and customizable tagging properties. The device minimizes operator error and can recognize incorrect measurements and void said measurements. And finally, on the right, you can see our Cyano.io online cyanide management cloud platform. This platform is customizable to your team's specific needs and provides advanced data analytics and visualization in real time on any internet-capable device. Additionally, the platform can easily export data into any format you need.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Borka, and welcome everybody to the session. Well, I'll take over this part. Well, the main objective of CyanoGuard is simple: is make cyanide visible. And by making cyanide visible, you're able to reduce cost with the CyanoSmart mobile analyzer, with our cyanide optimization program that goes hand in hand with the CyanoSmart mobile analyzer. And we also have a solution that gives you a better advantage to manage and control your cyanide in the operation. By making cyanide visible, you're also able to increase recoveries, this with the implementation of laboratory best practices. Also with the use of our platform of data learning and artificial intelligence, and through our partnerships by using process control and simulation software. And additionally, by making cyanide visible, you're able to reinforce your relationship with both the communities you operate and the investors that support your growth. This basically by assuring the cyanide levels are compliant with the cyanide code levels. We can also provide third-party environmental cyanide audits, and we also have done due diligence for investors in the terms of cyanide. So next slide, please.
So I will briefly share why the CyanoGuard solution gives you an advantage. The CyanoGuard solution can give your site a clear advantage over traditional cyanide management practices. By implementing our solution, you can see up to a 15% decrease in cyanide consumption, a 2% increase in gold production, and a 20% decrease in detox reagent costs. Your site can see a significant return on investment with the increased real-time knowledge gained with our solution. So our one unique aspect of our company is we offer a pilot program. The pilot program gives our partners the opportunity to trial the solution and see the potential results prior to permanent implementation. The objective of our pilot program is to allow our partners to test and evaluate the CyanoGuard solution for themselves and their teams. The program includes a detailed SOP of the CyanoGuard technology specific to your site, all necessary training and materials, and a detailed report summarizing your trial's results. Ideally, the pilot program will take place over a period of 3 to 4 weeks to allow for complete information gathering.
And our pilot program is divided in 4 steps. The first one is provide the technical inputs. With them, we will have a better understanding of the challenges of your operation and how our solution could help you. The second one is establish the baseline parameters. This is important because with that baseline, we will measure the success of the project and the increase in recoveries and the reduction in costs. The third one is execute the pilot project. As Alex mentioned, is about 3 to 4 weeks. This depending on the scope and the challenges your operation has. And the fourth and last one is conduct the evaluation of the project. In summary, this whole project takes about 5 to 6 weeks, depending on your challenges and your needs. So now we will jump to the Q&A part. We will read the questions that you submitted prior this session. And then if you have more questions about the solution, please feel free to post them in the chat. So I will start. So the first one is what makes CyanoGuard's solution unique? So I will say this is a combination of both technology and personalized support. As we see every mine and every operation as a unique business case with its own challenges, priorities, and budget. Now, Alex, I will jump to you for the second one, please.
Of course, thank you, Luis. Do you make site visits to major users to make sure they're using it correctly? And the answer to that is, of course. We visit all of our users for a variety of reasons, such as demonstrations, onboarding, training, and any follow-up training and troubleshooting. Additionally, we are available for questions and troubleshooting via phone, email, or video calling daily in a range of time zones. Back to you, Luis.
Yeah, so the next question is, why is your technology better than the existing methods? Well, it's basically on the chemistry side, as our sensor has a high affinity to cyanide. Our sensor is based on vitamin B12. If you remember, vitamin B12 is part of the medical treatment kit to treat cyanide intoxication. So, as I said, our sensor has a high affinity to cyanide, making it interference-free. And I will say that this and the combination of the digital part we provide makes our technology just better than the other solutions currently in the market. So the next question, please, Alex.
Next up, we have, what is the expected accuracy of the results? The CyanoGuard solution has an expected margin of error of less than 5%, which decreases as the user becomes more proficient with the testing procedure.
Okay, so the next one, how can we achieve a higher gold yield using your solution? Basically, when you have other metals apart from gold in the solution, other metals have the disadvantage that they might overread the free cyanide available. So this can result in an underdosing of cyanide and therefore getting less recoveries. Our solution gives you the exact reading of the cyanide that you have available to leach gold, and therefore, by adding the right amount of cyanide, you could increase the gold recoveries in your plant.
Thank you. Our next question is, what range of cyanide content is within the normal ability of the machine? So this was also asked in our Q&A question box, and the device can detect from 0.1 ppm to 4,000 ppm of cyanide.
So the next one is, how can we optimize our cyanide monitoring process by using our solution? Well, as I mentioned, our method gives you a fast and reliable result of the cyanide available to leach gold in your process. So this will allow you to make decisions faster and more accurate, and therefore reduce the cyanide unit cost, and also other costs associated to the cyanide circuit. That could be lime, oxygen, or some detox reagents.
Excellent. What must the users do with used sample containers? So once used, the test cartridge is safe to dispose of in any trash receptacle due to the minimal cyanide needed for the testing procedure. Additionally, these cartridges are simply made of plastic and are safe to toss. There is no cutting hazard there. And if you are interested in recycling, the used cartridges can be shipped back to Zurich for recycling by our team at our Zurich headquarters.
So the next one about the customers that are using our solution currently. So unfortunately, we cannot disclose the names of the companies, as those are public companies, but we can say that we're working with a large polymetallic mine in Canada, one gold mine in Central America, and in Colombia we have our first customer that is still with us since 2 years, and then we have one mine in Australia. We are currently running 2 active pilots in Peru, and we are currently looking to implement our solution with a large mining company that has multiple operations in West Africa.
Excellent. So next up we have, does a company participating in the pilot program have any obligations to CyanoGuard during or after the trial? And to answer that, of course not. We do hope for our partners to complete the trial period, but the goal is to determine if the CyanoGuard solution is going to be a good fit for your operation, your team, and your needs. It's not, we understand.
Okay, so can our technology also be used with silver? Yes, as I said, our solution is interference-free, so it can be used to determine free cyanide in solutions with silver or other metals.
Excellent. And now we'll cover, how do measurements work? So the measurement procedure is quite simple. You'll begin with a 1 milliliter syringe of your cyanide sample, which is incorporated into a buffer solution. This mixed solution is then flushed through the test cartridge to initiate the chemical reaction. Once complete, the cartridge is then inserted into the CyanoSmart device to begin the reading of the sample. The CyanoSmart device quickly reports out the concentration reading and transmits the data to the Cyano.io platform, which can be accessed from on any internet-capable device anywhere in the world.
Thank you, Alex. So can our solution help with other mine operations or only cyanide monitoring? Well, we see some momentum building around environmental control, both in mine operations and other industries, environmental control in the mining industries and other industries as food and electroplate plating, but I would say like indirectly, as you have better cyanide management and control, you can focus your efforts around other areas in your operation.
Excellent. So next up, we have what are the upper limits for testing? And as I mentioned previously, the CyanoGuard device can detect concentrations of up to 4,000 ppm. Back to you, Luis.
Thank you, Alex. So how much training time is required for the operators to use the CyanoSmart effectively? We say 20 hours of training, and this is achievable in the week that we onboard people at the mine site.
Excellent. And finally, out of our submitted questions, how long does it take to receive the CyanoGuard solution on site? So all materials will be shipped out of our headquarters in Zurich, Switzerland, and are expected to arrive at your specific site within a week. This, of course, can vary based on your country's customs and importing procedures, but we are very dedicated to getting you your materials quickly. And now to our chat box, one of our attendees asked, can we read directly from a cyanide pulp, or does the pulp need to be filtered? Luis, do you want to take that for me?
Yeah, I will take that, Alex. So our solution, the cartridges we provide have a filter attached, and they can read up to 60% of solids in the solution. So you can read it directly from the cyanide pulp. So yeah, I think that answers Carlos' question. And I have other question on the ones that were submitted. Is there a standard method to validate the results obtained from the CyanoSmart kit, and how often should it be done? So basically, when we are at the mine site in our onboarding week, we come with cyanide standard solution of different ranges. We test those on site, both with our CyanoSmart solution and with the current method you're using, so we can compare. And additionally to that, we send the mine samples to a third-party laboratory to validate the results. And well, here's, I think, time to say that our CyanoSmart solution doesn't need calibration or maintenance. So we provide regular updates on the like the software that is inside the CyanoSmart. And if you were to have like a problem with the analyzer, we will just send a new one. So those are like the questions that were submitted. If you have any more questions, please feel free to write them on the chat so we can read them and hopefully answer those. If not, if there are no more questions, if the people, Carlos and the other people that submitted your questions, if you have more doubts or your questions weren't responded fully, please feel free to contact us directly. We will put the contact information in a minute, and well, hopefully we can talk about the challenges of cyanide analysis in your operation, and with that we can collaborate to find the perfect solution, improve performance of your plant, and reduce associated costs.
Hey, Luis, our friend Carlos submitted another question, if you'd like to address that.
If you read directly from the cyanide pulp, there's no problem with the interferences. No, there's no problem, Carlos. As I said, our sensor is based in vitamin B12. It's highly has a high affinity to cyanide, so there are no interferences.
Anyone else have any other questions? Feel free to ask now while they are still here. We have still a couple of minutes if you want to submit anything connected to our technology, which devices you can use, anything that you are interested in. because it's a new solution and it uses different technologies. So just feel free to ask us. Maybe you don't know also a lot about the CyanoGuard, so we will make sure to share the recording of this Q&A session and also share the brochure so you can kind of read through all the information. And all the questions that you have asked and that we have on our site, we will include in the recording and in the email that we will send a couple of days after this session. So just feel free to ask anything. There is another question from Matthew.
So I can take that. Thank you for your question, Matthew. We are currently working with a large cyanide provider based out of the US, and we'll be working to introduce the solution to a variety of mines throughout the US, specifically in the Western region. But at this time, the US market is quite new, and we are still introducing the solution to a lot of mine sites. A lot of other countries, such as Turkey, Australia, and Canada, have had, and then Luis can add our Latin American countries that we're involved in, but we have more established relationships in those countries. But we will hopefully be coming to a US mine site near you. Thank you, Matthew. Please let us know if you have any additional questions regarding that.
Thank you, Matthew, for asking. Anything else you want to cover in this session?
As Luis mentioned, please, if you have any additional questions that you would like to ask outside of this or your team has, please feel free to email our mining.solutions@CyanoGuard email address, and Luis and I can promptly answer any additional questions or discussions you may be having.
Yes, well, again, thank you very much. And as Alex said, please write us. We will be happy to talk about the challenges you currently have, about the needs, also the priorities you have, and then decide which part of our program or which scope of the program will suit you better. So please write us, let's talk, and thank you very much for attending. I will also thank Alex for co-hosting this event, and obviously Borka to organize all of this.
Yeah, thank you, Alex and Luis, for accepting this offer to organize this Q&A session. And I hope that we got all of your answers answered. And if not, obviously contact them, and I will share all the details. And you also can feel free to ask them anything on LinkedIn and or this email mining.solutions@cyanoguard.com. And just at the end of this session, I shared a small survey with you. So if you would be so kind to answer it. And thank you, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.